So if you're a car enthusiast and have been a car enthusiast for a long time, there's no doubt that you know the Konig brand. But maybe there's some things that you don't know about us, and I'm going to tell you 5 of those things right now. What's going on? I'm Scott from Konig, and before we get into this video, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button and subscribing down below. So if you're an automotive enthusiast, there is no doubt that you have heard of the Konig brand. They've been around for 40 years and been producing wheels just as long. But there may be some things that you don't know about the brand, and I'm going to give you 5 of those things right now. So one of the first things that you may not know about Konig is that they actually had a comic book. I know that sounds a little strange, but remember, if you go back into the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of that Japanese anime stuff was pretty big, and so not only was it found on some of the sides of the feature cars that they've built, but they also went as far to make a Konig comic book, and little Tack had his adventure all the way through. Now, of course, you couldn't buy one of these comic books at a regular comic book store, but if you went to a local wheel retailer and checked out the counter, there was a good chance that during that time there was one on the counter and you could take it home with you. Now, Konig did this not only to give fans some reading material and hand out at shows, but it also served as a bit of a catalog. In the back was wheels and accessories. And that brings us to the next point that you didn't know about Konig, and that is they actually did something other than wheels. At one point, Konig actually sold an accessory line, which included exhausts, intakes, seats, steering wheels, racing shift knobs, pedals, lug nuts, and a bunch of other things. And amongst these brands were Mozart Racing, Villain Racing, and V Racing. And these were all brands that Konig had developed to be able to sell accessories and different parts in that big Fast and the Furious boom time. Now, during the Fast and Furious boom, it was not uncommon to see companies dabbling in a bunch of different parts of that segment. But as time moved on, Konig realized that wheels was really their focus, and that's where they stayed. So the accessory lines went away, and wheels moved forward. Moving on to the third thing that you may not know about Konig is that we actually participated with a lot of different brands to form different partnerships. That includes toy companies and other things, and one of those companies is Hot Wheels. We have been on a number of commemorative Hot Wheels limited edition cars for many years. In fact, that's probably dating back to the late 90s. So here's a good example of one. It was a 2008 edition, and you can see that the Konig is actually right there on the car. And we've done a number of these, and now that they seem to be pretty collectible, so if you could find one of these guys out there on eBay, snatch it up. Moving on to the fourth point that you may not know about the Konig brand, that is they were one of Super Street's first advertisers. Way back in the day, there was only a few advertisers that actually started advertising with Super Street. I believe one of them was Spec Clutch, I think HKS Regretti, and we were obviously there too. I mean, we're talking about the Abruni days, and if you're not sure what that is, well, Google it up. Super Street will always have a soft spot in our heart. Even though they don't make the print version of the magazine anymore, they'll never go away. What they had brought to this industry and to this segment means a great deal, and the fact that we were one of the first to be there with them was an exciting ride. All right, and as we come to the end, moving to the fifth and final point that we're going to talk about here today, that is we build private label wheels. What does that mean? It means that some of the wheel brands that you actually see out there on the market, we build the wheels for them. Now, that may seem like we're trying to brag, and it's not that at all. A lot of companies are importers, meaning that they buy from factories, and we, as a factory, often build wheels for companies that are out there. Now, that's not us trying to brag, that's just facts. A lot of other wheel brands are importers, meaning that they buy the wheels from a factory and bring them in. And we are owned by a manufacturer, and because of that, we have the ability to make wheels not only for ourselves, but also for other companies. Obviously, we don't share that information about which brands we build for or not, and we certainly wouldn't divulge it here on this video. We won't even tell you in the comment section below, so don't bother asking. But it is something that we do, and it is part of the company that we are. So we hope that you found this interesting and we gave you some information that you may not have known about the Konig brand. But if you have any other questions or anything that we could possibly cover, throw it down below. And if you happen to have one of these guys, let us know which one you have. Maybe we'll do a part 2 next time. We'll give you some other facts. If you like that, let us know. Anyhow, we will catch you next time.